Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So the word on the grapevine is that Anthony Joshua is actually now training with Alexander Usyk's team. And this has led to speculation that he's maybe split with Ben Davidson. Eddie Hearn was asked about this in several interviews, and he certainly didn't deny that AJ is training with Team Usyk, but nor did he confirm that he's split with Ben Davidson. If he wasn't potentially splitting with Ben Davidson, I have to imagine that Eddie Hearn would have shut it down real quick and said, there's no truth to it. Therefore, I think there may be some truth to it, personally. I'm not saying he definitively will be splitting with Ben Davidson, but I reckon he's contemplating it, in which case this would be AJ's fourth trainer, fifth trainer or something in his career, maybe sixth trainer. And now potentially he's left Davidson and he's gone with Alexander Usyk's coach or one of his coaches. What do I make of this? Well, in any other circumstance, I would say it's a bad look for Anthony Joshua. But when AJ originally hooked up with Ben Davidson, I made several videos stating that there's a potential conflict of interest if AJ fights Luke Partridge, aka Tyson Fury, because Ben Davidson was part of the Fury cult. Not just his trainer, he was in love with the guy. The way he would talk about him, the stuff he would say, so on and so forth, it was very, very cultish. And so I always felt that AJ would need to get a different trainer if he was going to fight Luke Partridge. He wouldn't be able to stay with Ben Davidson. Not just because Ben Davidson perhaps wouldn't want to be in AJ's corner for a fight like that. I don't know whether he would or wouldn't. But because in my view, you really couldn't trust Davidson in a situation like that. Because, again, he was part of this Fury cult. Maybe he still is. Maybe he still longs to be in Team Fury, even though he was kind of, I don't want to say forced out, but he was made to feel uncomfortable by John Fury, that's for sure. And then when Luke hooked up with Sugar Hill, Ben Davidson didn't want to play second fiddle, so he decided to walk. That's the story as I understand it. So yeah, AJ here, if he is going to split up with Ben Davidson, either permanently or just for this fight with Luke Partridge, which according to Gareth A. Davis is actually in negotiations now behind the scenes, it does make sense. It makes sense, as I say, because of the potential conflict of interest and also because Usyk's team, more than anyone else in boxing, know how to beat Tyson Fury. It's like when Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Oliver McCall. McCall was trained by Manny Stewart that night. After the fight, Lennox Lewis called Manny Stewart and said, would you train me? Because his thinking was, well, I want to hire the guy who trained McCall to beat me because that guy knows all my weaknesses. Therefore, he will know how to correct my weaknesses, correct my mistakes. Similar thinking with AJ hooking up with Team Usyk, because obviously they trained Usyk to beat him, but he also trained Usyk to beat the guy that AJ is potentially fighting next, Luke Partridge. So it's logical. Now, where there's a question is whether Usyk's team are going to know what to do with a 6'6" Anthony Joshua, who's orthodox and very, very different to Alexander Usyk, obviously. I'm sure the Usyk's team are vastly experienced and they generally will know what to do with Anthony Joshua. But given that they've been gearing everything around training Usyk for all these years, it might take a little bit of adjustment, maybe a couple of fights. If AJ is going to have this warm-up, then there's one of the fights right there. So I think it's interesting, to be honest. In any other circumstance, as I said earlier on, I'd really question this move, but as things stand, and when I say this move, it isn't necessarily happening, it's a rumor at the moment, which Eddie Hearn hasn't confirmed or denied, but as things stand, I reckon it might actually be a good thing. You certainly can't be staying with Davidson, in my opinion, if you're going to be fighting Luke Partridge. So those are my thoughts. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share this video, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.